When people think of the linebacker position, pure strength and the ability to tackle are the first things that come to mind. Yet it's much more than that. They need to be the quarterback of the defense, need to be able to read the offense, and that's why Eric DeMeo is so valuable to this Tanner squad.
Our very own StevenAccardi is standing by to tell us how the wrestling team is prepping for this season. Steve?
Thanks, Dan. This is your typical high school hallway filled with lockers, classrooms, and students. However, in this room, the teaching curriculum is going to be a little bit different. Instead of teaching math and science, they'll be teaching takedowns, changing position, and pinning your opponent. The hockey program returned to Watertown last season, and they have been rebuilding on the fly. Coach Velakis knows with all of these moving pieces that his players can stay out of the penalty box and play hard every time they step on the ice, they'll have a chance. I'm StevenAccardi, and we have a special guest joining us in the studio as I'm here with Dan McCarthy, who's in charge of putting together the annual Fair on the Square Festival. Dan, thank you so much for being here.
Steve, thanks for having me.
Of course. Seattle Seahawks head coach Pete Carroll created the Heads Up program, which is designed to enhance player safety by teaching coaches the proper way to fit equipment, treat concussions, and teach tackling. These tactics have kept the players on the field. I'm StevenAccardi, and I'll be taking over sports this week. We have plenty of action on the hardwood and the ice, so without wasting any more time, let's get right into it. Starting off, boys basketball taking on Wilmington. Off the opening tip, Henry Papadopoulos gets that up to Spinelli, beats a defender for the opening layup, 2-0 Raiders. 9-3 game now. Wilmington trying to get something going. Pass up to Surrett, gets by Spinelli, pass into the corner, the captain Stokes for three, nothing but net. 9-6 ball game. Now 13-9. Watertown inbound. Good passing here. Gavor Karapetian breaks his defender down. Passes to Nick McDermott, does the same thing. Plays broken down a little bit up to Iannetta, gets by his defender to Breen for three, splash. 16-9, about to be 19-9. Raiders now have a commanding 42-17 lead. Wilmington needs to get something going desperately. Dribbles into the lane, throws it off a defender's leg. Jump shots miss, but Muncie gets it, goes up with it, absorbs the contact, gets the bucket. So 46-22, fourth quarter. This game is in hand. Watertown just trying to put a dagger into it. Spinelli into Papadopoulos, up to Gavort Karapetian. Three-pointer is made. 14 points off the bench for Karapetian. And the Raiders absolutely roll 60-30. This game was not even close. After the first quarter, they really blew them out. Now we're going to have girls basketball. It's going to be a little reverse action here as they had a tough time. Starting off, nice passing in there. Layup. 2-0 start for the Raiders. Now down by 4. Lambo finds Shaughnessy, finishes with the right hand. Raiders trying to stay in this one. However, the defense was lacking. Wide open layup as Wilmington's going to start to go on a run now. You see nice little spin move. Goes up with the right hand. The captain gets it to go. 11-0 run. Now three-pointer. Wilmington just absolutely pouring it on. This game is getting out of hand. Watertown needs offense desperately. Lambo and one. Count it. She did miss the free throw. In here, gets the double team, goes up with it anyway, gets it to drop. It's been an absolute rout. Brianna Williams gets a consolation prize three-pointer, gets it to go. But Wilmington trying to put a dagger, and they get it, and one. Made the free throw, 50-25. Absolute beating. So the boys team get a victory. The girls team really struggle in this game as the full court press caused so many problems. Now we're going to the ice. Watertown facing Wilmington again. You see Wilmington gets off to a hot start here, wins it in the corner, slap shot is good, 1-0 Wildcats. Here we are again, good save at first, but the rebound is slotted home. Watertown needs an answer, and they're gonna get one here. Pass is stolen, able to get it back though, make sure her teammates are onside. As she crosses the blue line, they both get back onside, and a nice individual effort here. There's not really any defense. Slides it top right-hand corner, 2-1. Watertown with then one goal. Now let's look at it. Great individual effort by Lampasoni here. Buries the shot, blew by the goalie, and just like that, 2-2, third period, late goal. Watertown able to tie this game up. The Watertown boys basketball team are the defending state champions. They lost a bunch of key contributors through graduation and injuries, yet are still playing at a high level. One of the reasons for this is the continuity with the starting lineup. I spoke to Coach Harrington and some of the players about the benefits of sticking with the same group through the ups and downs of a game. It's almost at the halfway point in the boys' basketball season for the defending state champion Watertown Raiders. Their title defense has had its ups and downs. However, one consistent thing is head coach Steven Harrington's philosophy on playing time. The starting five plays the majority of the game. The unit has built up enough trust to be allowed to play through rough patches instead of being sat down on the bench. Coach Harrington is currently in his 25th year of coaching high school basketball, and with 3 state championships to his name, the short rotation clearly works.
You know, it just depends on, you know, the lineup that we have. Right? My philosophy is, especially with 4 quarters and timeouts and stuff, if a unit's playing well out there, you know, I'm not going to disrupt it just for the sake of disrupting it. If a guy calls out because he's tired, he'll come, you know, we'll certainly adhere to that. Right? But for the most part, if the unit's playing well out there, I'm going to go with that.
Being given that much playing time puts a lot of pressure and expectations on the starters to perform. Players need to develop trust with Coach Harrington before they're allowed that much freedom on the court. For senior captain Henry Papadopoulos, the opportunity to play through mistakes is something he worked hard for and appreciates.
I mean, he obviously puts a lot of trust on us, even when we make mistakes. Like, a lot of the time we can stay in the whole game and like try to play as much as we can. I think it's just because like he works with us the most and he has like the most faith in us, and he just wants to like keep it going. I mean, it's obviously a lot of pressure, but we do our best.
Just because Coach Harrington plays his starters for long periods of time doesn't mean that he won't shake things up. Having sufficient bench players that can contribute is a valuable asset. The biggest challenge is finding the right combination of players that can get the job done on the hardwood.
At times, I think the most important job for a coach is just to find the right lineup, all right, and then to go from there. And obviously, we all need depth. We all need guys to come in if needed, and so on and so forth. But for the most part, yeah, I think they gain confidence that if they're playing well, they make one mistake, they're going to stay. You know, they're still going to have the confidence that, from me, that they're going to be able to stay out there.
For Watertown Weekly News, I'm StevenAccardi. That's all the sports for this week. Back to Rob and Jim for more Watertown Weekly News. The 2017 season was a glorious one for the Watertown Raiders boys soccer team. The defending Division III North champions, the Raiders made it all the way to the state semifinal before suffering a hard-fought 2-0 defeat to Norwell. As the summer heat passes and the temperature starts to change, each day moves closer towards the start of a new campaign. However, just because the season hasn't officially begun doesn't mean that the Raiders haven't been working on improving their craft. Head coach Frank Caccia knows his team is hungry and extremely motivated by witnessing the work they put in throughout the summer.
Having a successful season motivates the boys. So in the off season, at least 20 players every morning, 8 to 10 a.m. We're out here training. But I think the chemistry in this team and the depth in this team is going to separate us from most teams this year.
As there is with every high school team, replacing the shoes left behind by graduating seniors is a tough task. The biggest challenge for the Raiders will be trying to replace the offensive prowess provided by co-Middlesex League MVP Alex Abrahamian. Luckily for Watertown, a large majority of their starting 11 will be returning this year. One of those key players is starting center back Luke Murphy. Having the responsibility of being one of this year's captains, Luke has been focusing on conditioning for a deep playoff run and building chemistry with some of the new players.
I mean, we ran this summer more than I think we've ever run because we lost some talent, so we have to make up for it in our chemistry and in our conditioning. So I think the longer the wind takes, the sweeter it'll taste. And like I said, chemistry. Chemistry is one of the biggest things. You become so close to the guys you play with that you're basically a family.
Revere 20, PBD 6. PBD just fumbled on 3rd and 2 with about 5 seconds left. Revere got it, so they did not score after a 48-yard pass from Declan Russell. So it's been a very, very frustrating half for Peabody, shooting themselves in the foot. They recovered an onside kick. However, the runner did not reestablish themselves, so therefore they did not get possession. So it's kind of been like that all day long for Peabody. 2 fumbles. They're really shooting themselves in the foot. They're going to have to play a very clean and almost perfect game in the second half to get the victory. They're going to really need to step it up on both sides of the field. Penalties, turnovers, the huge detriment for the Tanners so far. 72nd annual Thanksgiving game between Peabody and Saugus. Peabody has the series lead 43-28. The rivalry got restarted in 2009. Since then, Peabody has won 5 of the last 8. The big story in this game is going to be Saugus's high-powered passing attack versus Peabody's secondary that has allowed 2 200-yard passers back-to-back. The field is also another thing to be in consideration. It's muddy, it's dangerous, ankles are going to get rolled. It's going to be very interesting to see that going forward. Back to you guys.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Belmont High School. I'm here with head coach Jan Kumin. So Thursday is going to be the Thanksgiving game, big rivalry game between you and Watertown. How is your team feeling leading up into that big moment?
Oh, we're just excited, you know.
So Thursday is going to be the last game that your senior class is going to be able to play for Watertown High School. How big has this team been to you personally as a coach and also to some of the underclassmen?
It's a great group.
Head coach Mark Betancourt, 33-7 is the final. Coach, you said earlier that this was the last couple minutes of your seniors get to play this season. Describe their effort tonight.
Phenomenal. To come out and start off the way we did, a little slow, and to get rhythm and work.
Let's talk about the story of the game. Dewey Millett had 2 touchdown passes. He's your third-string quarterback. He's really a tight end. The first drive, he had a 66-yard bomb. For kind of emergency duty, can you kind of describe how you really thought he did tonight?
Yeah, Dewey's got a